Thank you so much for making time to speak with me. I'm not sure what I should be congratulating you first. Should I talk about the songwriters or should I talk about something that happened at the Polaris Music Prize where I was in the audience just over to the other side?
Let's talk about you. What's your favorite thing in life?
Honestly, I'll tell you one of my favorite things in life, and that's doing interviews. And as a doing this now for the last 35 years, I would say. If you ever told me that as a teenager, I would be speaking with you after watching Toronto Rocks and seeing one of your videos coming
Oh,
across, that
that's
would
funny.
be one of those things you're going, yeah, that's not supposed to happen, but it is finally happening. Congratulations with your whole career.
Oh, thank
Um,
you. What a nice way to say that. Yeah.
I do want to go to the Polaris Music Prize and say congratulations on that. And how did that feel in having that honor?
Uh, it it felt great. I sort of wasn't thinking a lot about it, and then I got this huge dose of wonderful energy from everybody, and certainly that means a lot in life, and probably more energy than lots of people ever get. So I was grateful.
I was grateful to be in that audience to see you because I was like, oh, wow, she won. Fantastic. Because one of the reasons why I
Uh,
wore this Bowie shirt, I always considered you almost like the female Bowie. When I say that is because your music was so beautifully translated from art musically to a point where if you people say close your eyes, listen to music, you get visual things. Yours was abstract. Every time I listened to your music and closed my eyes, there were colors, there were waves, there was so many things that were going on. And I always felt like um, that was genius to be able to create music like that. I have no idea where that came from, but I have to ask right up, how does somebody develop something like that so beautifully?
I don't know, Rudy. It's not my genius. I think it's you can only see that and hear that if you have that sort of way of seeing too. So it's like circuits hook up. We blended with each other in some way, and I allowed an opening for you and others who see that way. I love it when people do that for me, so I can see a certain way. It's like a yeah. I don't know. It's a beautiful thing. Some people will never see things. Some people see over the top, and you did. That says more about you, really, than me. But I'm glad. I'm glad. Rudy.
But you,
Little
you
baby
but
Rudy.
you helped me with that travel. So I want to ask you your travels in the beginning with music and arts. Um, How did that all start to develop for you? Where was the beginning point for you, and how did it blossom to what we during the 80s really started to be attached to?
Didn't we? Wasn't that an interesting time? Like we
Yeah.
opened. I I know that I felt there was a vacuum for me to fill a little bit because I'd hear things that I hadn't heard elsewhere that I wanted to hear elsewhere. So I just sort of flow into that vacuum, and create things. So and I've always played by ear, so I can hear things. And mainly my goal has been to create what I hear in my head best I can, and that's sort of been the craft of it is learning how to get closer to what's in my head. And yet, yeah, so after a while, I didn't really want producers because the point was to exaggerate what I heard. You know what I mean? And I personally love it when I like it when others do that. I'm always wanting to say, get the hair off your forehead. I really want to see your face, your brow. I want to see what your brow means. Or do something, you arrange this. Don't let a producer, what do you hear in your head? I'm always hoping for that from people. I think that's the best we have to offer, really. Otherwise, it's like more manufactured. And I want to know how people are living, how they're finding being alive. I mean, it's very mysterious. I want to know the nitty gritty. Um, So now, after, okay, next thought. Um, even though I've gone for what I've heard, I think so. I don't even think I'm doing the music I somehow I'm supposed to be doing. Every now and then I get a flash and I say, "Oh my God, that's the house I'm supposed to live in," you know. But sometimes it's just when I'm put on hold and I'll hear a certain phrase and I say, "Oh," and then it's like, "Oh, don't disconnect, please. I need to remember that." So I don't know what's ahead, but I've I love the moments in between, and I love for people. You know, like probably funny things would mean more to me in this interview than it would maybe to you, or maybe it's funny. I find people so interesting.
I find you one of the most interesting artists ever. And the reason why I say this because, and I love the fact that you finally explained that music part. But lyrically, though, people talk about, I was writing poetry in the beginning, things like that. Yours is pure poetry with this abstract, blossoming music being put together.
Mm.
How did you, how were you able to blend that poetry with this beautiful music?
I I started to feel limited quite early. You know that I needed more space to sort of let it things ride longer. So I started to put monologues in the music. You know, spoken word, so there could be more of a splash instead of such rigidity. Because I think I was imitating life, really. You know, um, and then poetry, I think, was invented for as a last resort when we can't explain something. Like I've noticed a few times when I'm really trying to say something to someone that's really from my heart, the only way I can really say it is to shift into poetry. You know what I mean? It's like a saving grace beyond language. And then beyond poetry, what is there? I don't know, maybe just putting our foreheads together. Um, but it's an important part of our language, poetry. And I use a mixture of, I guess, prose and poetry, and I don't really like poetry too much, honestly. If it I like a certain life poetry. Um, anyway, but the final thing I wanted to say is I don't write as much now because I'm not grounded. No one can ground me anymore and send me to my bedroom where I can't do anything except play guitar and write music. It's really a problem for me. I need to be punished.
I wanted to ask about Mimi on the Beach.
Hmm.
Where was that inspiration? Where did it come from? And when I was listening to that song, even when I was watching the video, I kept saying, "Meet me at the beach." And I would sing it that way. It wasn't for years later, I realized exactly what the lyrics were saying. Where was that inspiration? Where did that come from?
Well, you know what you picked up on was a bit of a fog in the title. Mimi was on the surfboard, so Mimi on the beach. She wasn't on the beach. It was just a bit confused, and you picked up on it, so it makes sense that people that it just didn't land properly. I'm not surprised. But I was in Florida. I'd take vacations with my family, and we'd be at the beach, and I'd go down. My parents would be napping, and I'd be watching all these people, and then it sounds very judgmental, but I guess I'm talking about a cultural thing, you know, all these kids that I didn't want to talk to them really because I couldn't, they weren't, they didn't live a life where they were allowed to let their interesting parts out, right? So it just, was so young, I really didn't know how, how to deal with it. And then I remember happy hour, Florida, cocktails, and this beautiful girl with white teeth came and she mesmerized everybody. She was so charming and everyone just bought into it. But what she was saying were quite cruel things, about being mean to people. Like she'd take off she'd go to bars and let people buy her drinks, and then she'd go to the washroom and take off. Ha ha ha! Isn't that funny? No, it's not funny. It's it's not funny. And everyone was, oh, that's so funny. So I don't know. It was a criticism of everything I grew up with, really, and I put it into this a song focused on people on a beach.
How much how much say did you have with that video? Because that video is also very groundbreaking as well.
Well, it's one of the first videos, Rudy, and I was the one who said, "Are we really allowed to have her drinking Coca-Cola on a surfboard?" Like we didn't even know that. It just like seemed a bit wrong. So it was I I didn't have a lot of control, and I actually wanted to have a guy play Mimi, like a very neutral androgynous boy, because I didn't want people to get locked into the female male thing. I
Mhm.
wanted to diffuse that, but they didn't they didn't really go for that. So I was sort of involved, but it is what it is, and it was fun. And I really didn't know how to move or anything. And oddly, I've been told years later that that video allowed people to feel confident about coming out, even though it wasn't about that. But somehow the visuals set it up perfectly, so it gave strength to some people as an accident, and that was pretty cool too.
What song would you say you're most proud of? I've been asking everybody who is receiving this honor, what would you say is your masterpiece and why?
Um, I think two songs on the new recording are one of them is a song designed for animals, so people can put it on and put their dogs in the room, and um, the other one is another one, Atlantis. Those are on the new record. Try putting into words maybe a bit further than I did in Mimi on the Beach, how I'm seeing things and also offering. Here's an example. Um, every time we say, um, every time we replace fuck you with come sit at our table, sort of thing.
Hmm.
So to me, I'm honed in on something newer, which made me, was important to me, whatever. So those two, and then maybe, I don't know, I love a lot of them. I love songs about geese and trees and leaves. So a lot of them are about that, I guess.
Speaking of dogs, the last time I saw you was at a red carpet at the Toronto International Film Festival. It was several years ago. Gloria Martin was there, also,
Hmm.
entertainment extraordinaire. And you had a dog with you,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. I think it was one dog, or it could have been more.
One,
It was one. Do we still have that dog? What was it? Who was that dog?
that dog was in the movie. That's
I
why.
didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my dog Gwillem, a border collie, Blue Merle. Yeah, that's why he was with me. He was part of the cast.
What was the movie again? I'm sorry, I don't remember what the movie
Um,
was.
was it Porcupine Lake? That was one he was in, Porcupine Lake by Ingrid Benninger. But yeah, he was a fun dog. Oh my God, like people would actually stop and cheer when he'd grab a frisbee out of the air. You know how some dogs do that, and everyone just like so proud of this animal. It's like superhero. Anyway, so I have another dog now. Beautiful. I've been blessed with every dog is as beautiful as the next, of course. But yeah, I love having dogs as companions. It's so it's beyond. It's as close as you can get to God, I think. You know.
I would agree with that. Now, you mentioned about new music. Does that mean that we're going to see you on stage performing that new music?
Yes, yes. I was trying to find a new place. I mean, a place in Toronto for like a celebration show, and it wasn't working out. Um, the right place and with a band and singers and all that. So I thought something's up in the air. And then I went to TIFF and I thought, why don't I just have a listening concert in a beautiful theater where people can really, really hear and we can feel the music together if people want to do that. So that's what I might do. But yes, the songs unroll on my shows. Yeah.
I cannot wait for that. As we wrap this up, how do you want your fans to always remember your music? I told you how I felt about it.
You're so
It was
sweet.
such a beautiful journey. How do you want your fans to remember that?
I hope that they remember how beautiful they are because that seems to be what people say, oh, you remind me of a good part of my life. I think that's perfect, you know. That's good. Although I think the time have felt like a musician, truly like a musician, like I was doing my job properly, was when I was in a bus shelter. I didn't have a guitar or anything, and someone was giving off these vibes of they were very deeply in pain. They didn't say anything or anything, but I felt it, of course, and like we do. And I went over and I just started singing, improvising to them about life and how beautiful they were. And um, that made me feel like, yes, that's why am I on a stage and charging people, you know? We should be doing this all the time. We should be standing by toxic, empty lots, you know, and there are a lot of them in Toronto, and just singing till the energy changes because we can all do this. I think music is very different than what we right now presented as.
Yeah,
Do you agree?
I absolutely agree, which is why I'm so glad that I grew up in the era that I did
Huh.
and being able to be part of 60s, 70s, and my favorite era, the 80s.
Um, I
It,
think
it,
we're coming into a new wonderful era. So maybe we'll find 2025 onwards has created a whole new fun thing.
my
Yeah.
fingers are crossed. My fingers are crossed. I have to say, this has been such an honor and a pleasure to speak with
Oh,
you. Congratulations. I will be at the ceremony. And
oh,
if they have a red carpet, I'm hoping that I get to talk to you again and
yeah.
we can snap a picture together because I didn't get that picture with you that last time, but I would love to get it this time around.
Sure. Sure, Rudy. That'd be fine. I'll look
Thank
forward
you.
to meeting you.
Thank you so much. And again, congratulations. Always love and respect.
And to you.